Hi everyone, welcome to SlimChat. It's Tracy and it's a lovely sunny day, but mega freezing cold, and I've got to go out a bit later. So I'm going to have to dig out my scarves, gloves, all kinds. I haven't got any thermal underwear. Anyway, COVID test was negative, which I'm too kind of happy and not happy about, because happy that obviously I don't have COVID, but unhappy that it would have been nice, now I've kind of got over whatever it was, well, getting over whatever it was, that it was actually COVID and got done and dusted, you know. But it wasn't. And so, yeah, just a really bad, really bad cold. So later on today, I'm going to, that's a weird word, isn't it? Going to look up and re-sign up for the Slimming World. I was thinking of doing some low carbing, but oh, you should see me try and eat meat. When I first went to one of my checkups, my consultant said, do you find that, you know, is there anything you have trouble eating? And I said, no, because at the time there really wasn't. And I guess it's because I hadn't really tackled eating everything, you know. I had eaten meat, but I hadn't eaten a great deal because it didn't taste particularly good at the time. So now I must admit, quite a lot of the time I really struggle to actually swallow meat, and it depends on what it is. Like if we have a casserole and there's a chunk of meat and I'm chewing that chunk, I can't always swallow it and I have to help it down with water. I mean, if what I'm eating has a sloppy content, then that helps. I suppose it's the moisture content. Having said that, you know, I could manage. But I didn't relish the idea of sitting there trying to eat stuff all the time. Plus, I don't really have that much. And it had this other effect as well, where Gary said, oh, well, I'll just do my own thing then. Because at first he said, oh, I'll do it with you. And then he was like, oh, perhaps it's not a good idea with his heart problems. And so I said, well, okay, I won't do it then. Because, you know, I didn't want to discourage him. And if I do Slimming World, he'll do it. But, you know, and it is more kind of easier on the palate, really. I used to love doing low carb, but I think it is a better diet to do when you're, it's not on your own, but you know what I mean, where you're kind of in control of everything you eat. When I was in my previous house, it was easy for me because I just made all my own meals. You know what I mean? That was the easiest thing. Wasn't making them for anybody else. So I do feel a lot better. You probably don't think so, with all this coughing and spluttering and everything else, and I'm constantly blowing, but not as much as I was. It's sort of really, every day is a little bit better, and I feel like my voice is stronger. I felt like that yesterday when I had to call out to Gary. There was way more oomph behind it, and that happened in hospital, you know. I can remember when I was in there and they would say, do a big cough for me. And they were pitiful coughs at first. And then overnight, more or less, I started to feel a lot better. And they were barrier nursing me at the time because they thought I had some norovirus or something. I don't know. No, C. diff. That was it. That's what they thought I had. But it wasn't. And so the guy stood at the door and he went, big cough for me. And I kind of filled the room with this. And he went, whoa, you know, you're better. But my, and that's how I felt yesterday, like with my voice being so much bigger, that I was actually on the mend. I had a busy day yesterday, talking to reps and getting my orders sorted out for Hobby Rocks. I've done 2 of them. Well, I have done 2 of them, but one of them needs a bit of a tweaking. I dare say the other one will, when they decide, you know, you kind of put in an order and then they have to sort of go into the nitty gritty of what's in stock, what's not in stock. I haven't heard anything back from them, but I've heard from one. And I've got to come to grips with a whole other one and look for some more. I've also got to look for a bank account, and so I've got my work cut out for me over the next sort of few days, I suppose. It was supposed to be a little easier because Gary was going back to work, but obviously where he's now been really ill, you know, he didn't go back, and plus we didn't know if it was COVID anyway. Now we know it's not. At least when he feels better, he can go back. He's not fit enough for it at the moment though, although he is pottering about with some DIYs, you know, quite hot, and every now and then he comes over really, really tired. He takes himself off to bed. So like last night, suddenly I was all on my own about 7 o'clock, but I got behind in soaps and stuff like that, so I can't remember what else I was doing, but they were on in the background while I was doing stuff. And then by the time I had 15 minutes left of the last one, which was an hour long, and Gary got up for a little while. Only a little while. But yeah, it's been quite late going to bed for me, all through my illness. I haven't been sleeping that great, but I'm sleeping better, but still a little bit sleep pattern out of kilter, which doesn't help really, especially when you're, you know, thinking about getting back on track. I haven't got much in the way of goodies left, so that's all right. And what I have got left, I can take or leave, so it's all right then. And plus, if you're doing Slimming World, if you really, really want to eat something, you can factor it in. That's the best part of it. So we're very, very low on Pussycat quotes now, but I reckon that the other book or books should arrive today. Better do, because we're getting there, you know. Getting very low. So this one, quite a long one. When we jump on the table in front of their friends, they shoo us off. They don't mind us doing this when they're alone. Indeed, we often sit on the table and watch them eat. And most humans have no worries about eating the butter after we've had a lick or two. They just don't like doing it in front of other humans. I suppose. I guess that is true. Having said that, Gary wouldn't like it. I often hear him go out into the kitchen and I hear this whoosh, where he's shushing her off the table, or he hates her hairs being anywhere because he's allergic and they make his eyes start itching and everything. So obviously, you know, that's another reason I don't allow her in bedrooms anyway, because I don't really want my bed being full of hairs, and I'm kind of allergic to hairs, but his allergy manifests itself differently to mine. If I was to stroke her lots and then do that, I'd have my eyes would swell and irritate, and all the whites would get inflamed. So if I do snuzzle her at any time, I usually think, oh, I better wash my hands. Whereas, you know, Gary's sort of sensitive to it if she's sat on a blanket and then we use the blanket or something like that. But yeah, he shushes the cat. But he used to be the same with his mum's dog. Even when I first met him, they had a dog that was probably the dog that he cared about most, called Rev, and he was always shushing him away. He hates the idea of an animal watching him eat as well. You know, I couldn't really have Fluffy sit on the table while I'm eating, but I don't mind her being on the floor near me or watching, or even a dog. But Gary's like, don't beg, go away. You know, he doesn't like that. But he doesn't realise that a cat doesn't listen. Don't listen. So, Jesus, George, so wonder I was even born, was Back to the Future. And Julie, Diamond Smiles, John and Rob all got that. Getting some guys. Wow. Well done then. Well done. This one, easy peasy, a lemon squeezy. Got to get my best accent going for this one. They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. The actor in question's accent was a bit questionable. I can remember when the movie was made, there was all this outcry. Have you heard the accent? I don't think it was that bad, to be honest with you. It wasn't that brilliant, but, you know, not as bad as they all made out. Maybe that's because I had a big soft spot for him, though, so yeah, I could forgive him. It was a bit dodgy, I suppose. So good luck with that, guys. It's a nice, easy peasy one. Anyway, I better get off, upload the videos, and get them all on so that we can go and do our chores, because Gary doesn't want to do them too late. So I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.